culture, here's what I believe, right? Management is about putting good systems in place and then driving those systems. Leadership is about what people do when you're not there. Let me repeat this. Leadership is about what people do when you're not there. So I wanted to lead my family. I want to, what do my children do when I'm not there? That's leadership. What does my team do when I'm not there? Because as a clinician, you can only be in one operatory at a time, and there's a whole bunch of other operatories with a bunch of different things going on. Then there's the front desk area. Then there is right? All those people, if you're worried about what they're doing, you don't have the same values. How many people understand that? Alignment is the most important thing we do in life. Getting aligned with your team. The team has to be better than you. Right? And what are you doing to invest in the team? Right? Don't think it's a lot for a half hour a week. Just, and it just keeps us all engaged, motivated, aligned, growing, right? So that's the analogy there. Now, reactive patients, by the way, are awesome because I can use the fact that they're busy, they're engaged, but they're busy. They go from one appointment to the other. It could be 6 months out, could be 2 years out, and I'm able to use that to pivot into doing more comprehensive dentistry on them. The majority of our patients lie in this category, proactive, and it's an interesting thing. It's like clockwork. They come in every 6 months to every 8 months, right? And you do your thing, and they go away. You do your thing, and so they are now numb from you. Do you understand that? You've trained them. They've trained you, and it's routine. And so now that you've said last time everything was fine, you have this awkward feeling. I'm going to sell them because. How many of you dentists have been to a great course and you come back and say, "Oh shit, I've got to talk to patients differently," and the same patient that came for 15 years, now you see something that you didn't know, and now you want to talk about airway or whatever it is that you're doing, and you feel awkward because you've said it's fine for so many years. How many people feel awkward that way? Right? And then you go in, and how much time do you have? Right? You got the 3 minutes. So then you rush it, and they say, and then they take the walk to the front desk and go home. Right? So we have to do something different here. They participate regularly in hygiene. They see it as a cleaning. They're still insurance-driven in their decisions. We primarily do toothpaste dentistry on them. Right? We do this crown, we do this filling, we do this, right? And we go into the yes/no mode, but we never talk about it's not a no, it's not yet. So if this was my patient and they were in my chair and I've been fine for 15 years and now I know so much more and their mouth has changed, I can say, Imtiaz, it's been 20 years. And we've done a remarkable job of looking after each other. You've kept your hygiene appointments, and I'm proud of how far we've come. But now, after 20 years, it's time for us to establish a new baseline because I'm now seeing, just like we age, our teeth age, and there's things that happen in the mouth, and I want it to be that way for another 20 years. So the next hygiene appointment is going to be hygiene, and then I'll be doing a more thorough exam because I'm now seeing conditions that concern me. So what did I just do? It's been fine for 20 years. We've worked well together for 20 years, and things are good, but they're not great anymore. And I like to get them to great. So the next visit, so my only job in that appointment is not to make the hygienist late, but to make the patient understand the next appointment will be different. And the hygienist will say, she is right. Let's appoint, it's going to be 90 minutes instead of an hour, and I'm going to appoint a half hour with the dentist with your permission. All right? I'm going to appoint a half hour with the dentist with your permission. Right? I'm nodding. All right? And boom, it's set up. right? So I don't have to do it there. Our thing is that we want to come in and do it right there. Now, if it's really important, the hygienist will say, you know, doctor, I don't think we should wait 6 months. Why don't we appoint the patient to come back, right? The hygienist becomes your nudger. But you've discussed it in the morning meeting, right? We have this nasty need to get stuff done. And anything we don't do right, we have to redo. You know, I tell people I'm so incredibly slow that I'm Speedy Gonzalez, right? Because once I do something, it's done right, I don't have to touch it again, right? And so over time, it compounds into greatness. So here, don't rush. Nobody's died from waiting for 6 months for the next appointment, right? On those key patients where there's a lot to be done, gain the trust and say to them, look, there is a lot we can talk about, and you've just come. This is your first time. And so my question is always going to be on a new patient. Let's start with a new patient to make you understand. They'll call and you'll do your normal thing. And these are the 5 key questions I ask that I would suggest you ask. When was the last time you had your hygiene appointment? That's one I'm sure you're asking. When was the last time any significant dentistry was done in your mouth? What motivated you to call? Right? Because they'll be, oh, it's because I haven't been to a hygienist in 2 years. Oh, I know that, but is there something that happened that said, I better make this a priority? I nudge again. How many people understand what I'm doing, right? And then what is the best way to communicate with you? Is it your cell phone? Is it okay for me to use the cell phone? And what is there any time that you can't make? Right? So then I pivot. So here's what I've heard from you. So you haven't been to a dentist in 2 years. It's been 5 years since anything major was done. You were motivated because you could see when you were brushing that there's some issues starting to occur. So awesome. So the first appointment for you, based on what you've shared with me, is XYZ. Whatever that happens to be, right? Now, proactive patients are focused on, you know, where did the 6-month thing come from? Anybody know, by the way? Toothpaste commercial. It was the Pepsodent commercial in the Amos and Andy talk show. You know, brush twice a day with Pepsodent, go to your dentist twice a year. There is no science that exists today that 6 months is the right answer. Neither is there science that says it's not the right answer, right? For some people, they need every 3 months. Some people need every 6 months. Some people need every 9 months. But 6 months is what we've trained them to do. The insurance companies cover usually, and now they're covering once a year. So people are moving to once a year. So it's driven by reasons other than their mouth, right? And so when I make a hygiene appointment, in the analogy, I always say, based on your mouth, here's how often you need to come in. Based on your mouth, right? So usually proactive patients are driven by the cleaning mindset. They come in for hygiene. They don't come in for you. How many people understand that, by the way? They started coming in for you, but they end up in hygiene, and we park them there for many years, and everything is fine, or we're watching and waiting. And so to nudge them out is what the game is here. How do I get them to... And so it's the idea here is to be to understand that patients are 3 things. Patients are only patients when their mouth is open. I want you to write this down. This is an important thing to get. They're only patients when their mouth is open. Patients are also clients. They have to like you, right? You've got to earn their trust, and they have to like you. But what they largely are is a consumer. A consumer decides where to spend their time and money. That's what a consumer is, right? Dentistry used to function very, very well with patients. There were patients. They came in, you told them what to do, they said yes, and you did it. Dentistry was simple years ago. Implants didn't exist, and when they came, it was oral surgeons that did them, and things were simple, but also life was simple back then. right? There wasn't a Starbucks in every corner. Right? Even though I complain about it, I had my coffee and I had, Geraldine asked me, do you want something? I said, yeah, give me half a chocolate croissant. That looked so good, right? I know I shouldn't do it, but, I'm going to do it because I love it, right? And so there isn't, the stuff that we eat today was not the stuff we ate 40, 50 years ago. Things have changed. Our mouth is very abused with the crap that we have that goes into our mouth. And then, by the way, how many of your patients tell you, yeah, I floss, and you can tell that they don't? How many, by the way? Right? And usually what happens is 2 days before you brush, because I used to do that, brush, start to floss, and try to fool the hygienist. But I never fooled her. She'd do, I'm just, and I'd just smile and say, okay, bring it on, give me my lecture, right? And then I leave, right? And so that's largely why I come. And that's why the hygienist is so important in this equation, to never just do a hygiene appointment, never be routine. Right? You never want to be routine. I don't want to be routine in my marriage. I don't want to be routine with my children. I don't want to be routine with my grandson. I don't want to be routine with myself. I don't want to be routine. Because routine is where you lose some of your great values, right? So each visit is like a new patient exam every time they come in. It's been 6 months. They're my best buddy. I'm going to basically go through the mouth like they were new. And I'm going to tell them that, 6 months is a long time in dentistry. So every time you come in, I'm going to treat you like you're a new patient. And I'm going to share with you what I see. So don't think I'm badgering you, because there's some conditions that get worse over time, and sometimes worse faster than we want. And so that is where the majority of your dentistry sits. Because we ignore them in proactive, that's why there's 300 million missing teeth. Because we ignore them in proactive and just becomes a cleaning, there's 37 million full arch cases to be done, right? Because of what we didn't do in the past.